Right here with another video. This occasion I'm going to talk about Sister Anne, the nun that they bragged about having in the monastery in, I think, 2008. They say that they have one new convent, and they even, if I remember correctly, they even say things like donate, help the nun, help the monastery, help the convent, or something like that. And last time I checked, like some weeks ago, that bragging information was still there. But I just wanted to share this with you, that there's some people who still think, even at present, that Sister Anne still lives there. But that's not the case at all. Like since probably about 2012, like almost a decade now, she was kicked out, and I don't know specifically why she was kicked out, but she had problems with, you guessed it, Brother Michael, because like these guys are so conflictive that they don't get along with anybody, basically, so not even with a nun in this case, And the way in which I realized this, or I noticed this, was some years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, that we were Dimondites, me and my wife. My wife one time was talking to her brother Jerome, which is my brother-in-law, and somehow the conversation went to ask for Sister Anne. And Brother Jerome says something worse to that effect of, that evil nun that was very prideful and likes to talk a lot. So he was very hostile to Sister Anne, extremely hostile. Back then we thought, well, if Brother Jerome says it must be true, right? Cultish stuff. So we immediately and absolutely assume that Sister Anne was just bad will, as the slogan says, the Dimondite slogan. But now, after realizing that they basically getting into fights and into problems with everybody, now I realize that there might be something more to it, So, Sister Anne, if you're listening to this, you want to contact me, please go ahead and tell me your story. I just wanted to hear what's your story. Even if your story is that you still want the approval of the diamonds, I'm just curious, I'm just curious what happened. If you want to share that with you, please let me know. So, what else? So just for the people who think that the monastery is like this flourishing community full of people and holiness, that's not the case at all, like Sister Anne is not even there anymore since almost a decade now. And the funny part is that most likely they receive donations based on this supposition from some people that they have a nun, especially because their letter bragging about it still is there, and it's not unreasonable to think that a person that is a newbie would just be going to the about section and then checking the website, the letters for Christmas for brother Michael, and then said, oh look, they even have a nun, that's great, so I'm gonna donate. And now imagine like the funny situation, like they donate, like a newbie Dimondite donates to the diamonds, and then he sends her like an email like, oh, it's amazing that you have a nun, I send you $20, keep up the good work, or something like that. So it's kind of, I don't know, kind of disgusting, like that they haven't corrected that like in public, and that they haven't even say what happened, because it's, to some people this is scandalous. Like some people had communicated to me when I tell them, hey, There's no nun there. Even though you think there is no nun there. There is no Sister Anne anymore, and they get scandalized, like, oh, what happened? What's the deal? So for the diamonds to be just like that is disgraceful. And lastly, another thing that I wanted to mention is how Saint Benedict, like the founder of true monasticism, in the in the West, was like speaking about the Saravites, like the rebellious monks who were just like evil, at in his time, and that he says specifically that the Saravites can only live with 2 or 3 persons. Like that's their upper limit, because, and if I remember correctly, it says that if they are with more people, they get into fights. So they are just able to handle 2 or 3 people, like groups of 2 or 3 people. More than that, and they break up. Like if there is like 5, then they get into a fight, and then they split. So now it's just 3 Saravites on one side and 2 Saravites in another side. And it's so incredibly interesting that that's precisely what happened to the diamonds. They cannot have more than 3 people. That seems to be their limit, And it's just interesting, how the diamonds are total Saravites, rebellious monks, evil, satanic, on the road to hell.